Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Command Post. My name is Sharp, and I'm joined by Nightpen
Hello.
and Jack Magnum.
McClunky.
That guy. Okay, so what the heck is the Command Post?
Basically, what we're trying to do is build a space where we can talk about Star Wars, amongst ourselves, but also with you, the audience, and have some down to earth, actual conversations about Star Wars without all of this, everything going on, bogging the conversation down. So really, just talking about what we like and what we don't like, and being able to agree and disagree.
I think the Star Wars content creation space as a whole has, this missing piece where, a real conversation between two people is just like, you have to agree with each other or you're objectively wrong. And in any other piece of media, that's just not how that works. But for some reason, the Star Wars fan base has really just latched on to that way of thinking. And that's where we want to try and bridge that gap and try and make a place that you can have a conversation and you can have one opinion and the person you're talking to can have another one.
Yeah, I would also say that in general, media today, a lot of people disagree, and there's a lot of hate going on in conversations. And yeah, we just want to make a space where there just isn't any.
Basically, right. So yeah, there's just a lot of vitriol, and it's either like you said, Sharp. It's either the greatest thing in the world, or it's like actually awful, and you're awful for liking it. And that is in I would say 99.9% of things just not the case, and especially in Star Wars. Like, I mean, they were talking about movies, we're talking about TV shows, we're talking about books and comics. Those things are art, and art is subjective. So what you like and what you don't like is going to be different person by person, and we can have a conversation about art. That's just how that works. And we all love Star Wars, so we're going to talk about Star Wars. I bumped my mic and I apologize.
Yeah, so one thing to know about us is that none of us have engaged real deeply in content creation as a space. And so do please just ignore our jankiness, at least for the first few videos. Um, Everything we're talking about, everything we're learning about content creation is just going to be like to try and make these videos higher quality and make the conversation higher quality. We're not professionals. That's going to come through very apparently very quickly.
We are
Yes.
just fans.
Yeah. And
Yes.
so who the heck are we? Who are you listening to right now? So, as I said, my name is Sharp and I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a little kid. And, I grew up in the prequel era watching, episode 1, 2, and 3. But my entire family, Star Wars was one of the core things that we all did together. So, growing up, me and Nightpen, we're family.
No way.
And so both of us together from before I could even remember. We were watching the movies. We were, as a family talking about Star Wars. I grew up playing Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 on the
We
original
both did.
Xbox. And Nightpen was right there with me.
Yeah.
That's the name of our channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Battlefront 1 and 2 on the original Xbox, uh, where they were cornerstones of our childhood. Like we had so many hours playing that. Um, but yeah, we at some point shortly after Revenge of the Sith came out, our family like sat us down in front of a big box TV and just showed us all of the movies in chronological order, which some people find that interesting. Jack Magan did when we first met. So,
I still have some feelings about
but
working through that.
yeah, ever since then, like we've been obsessed. Back when we still had cable, like we would just have Spike TV on, and they always had some sort of Star Wars on. Mostly the prequels, but they had the originals on there as well. And yeah, it's just been something very constant in our lives and has brought our family together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, you know, not part of their family. I'm married into that family, so I don't have the same exact story, but it's very similar. Star Wars has always been a part of my life. My family, all of them are real big Star Wars fans. Um, all like every single holiday, when family comes over and uncles are over, that's inevitably a topic of conversation is what's new in Star Wars? What are your feelings? What are your thoughts? Have you heard about this? You hear about the news, all that kind of stuff. So from a very, very little kid, I was, one of my most fondest experiences is, waiting in line. I remember waiting in line the day after, or I guess it would be premiere day, that episode 3 came out. And I, watching that premiere day in theaters with my uncle was super duper cool. Also, unfortunately, it's not a great movie, but I also saw the Clone Wars in theaters and, just like stuff like that. I also grew up in the, prequel eras. However, I did watch the originals first. Um, but yeah, so Star Wars has always been a part of my life. Was never really a Star Wars gamer. I didn't play the game other than Lego Star Wars. My sister and we played Lego Star Wars all the time, and she would get mad at me when I wouldn't. I would just run past the studs, and she would yell at me. Um,
We have
but
very similar experiences with that.
yeah, yeah.
What we
So,
don't
but
have a
Star,
similarity on is I'm pissed off that you're calling the Clone Wars movie trash. I loved that movie
okay.
as a kid.
I mean, it's not great.
Okay,
It's objectively
objectively,
not great.
as a movie, not the best. Uh, the first the movie, and you could say the first couple seasons of Clone Wars are not the best. But being a little kid that went to the movie theater and saw it, that was so cool. Seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan jumping on top of the spider droids, the large spider droid tank things. I don't know their names. I'm gonna catch flack for that. Whatever.
They're
Um,
homing spider droids.
okay, buddy. But no, seeing them do parkour across that and cutting their legs off was like the sickest thing as a kid. And the duel between Obi-Wan and Ventress was like, heck yeah, more lightsaber fights.
No,
Yeah, the Ventress introduction was fantastic. And I also have to say, like, Star Wars is fun. Like, it doesn't have to
yes.
be objectively good or anything. Like, it doesn't need to be. It's just, are you having a good time with this media and with this story? Which, yeah, I think the Clone Wars movie is fun, especially for a child.
Like, even though I said, not a great movie, I would still sit down and watch, and I have sat down and watched it and enjoyed myself doing so. So there is a difference between this is a good, thing and I like this thing. There can be a difference there, you know. So um but yeah, so Star Wars has always been, and whoa, crazy lore drop. Episode 1 lore drop. Nightpen and I are married. Yeah, I know I said that, but Nightpen and I are married. So Star Wars is a, foundational cornerstone of like our marriage and like how we got together and what bonded us. We started dating during the release of Mandalorian season 1, so you know, a couple of our first dates was me going over and us watching Mandalorian together. So Star Wars is a part of all of our lives through and through, and we love it.
It's a family affair.
Yeah. So
You can tell we know what to talk about next.
Star Wars. I mean, next on the script we have favorite
Whoa,
Jedi.
whoa, whoa! No script, buddy.
What, we got bullet points?
If only they knew how little bullet points. We were not prepared for this.
No, we
Um,
were not.
like I said earlier, content creation is not our forte. It's not gonna be our thing for a while. You'll have to suffer with us as
I don't know
we
what you're talking.
learn.
This is a perfect podcast. This is a
Oh,
perfect
you're
episode.
right. Yeah,
This is
you know,
perfect. Yeah.
we're about
Hey
to
Sharp, I'm bringing this up naturally. Hey Sharp, what's your favorite? Who's your favorite Jedi?
naturally and organically moving this conversation
Love it.
forwards.
Love it.
My favorite Jedi, like since I was a little kid, has always been Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, just like peak Jedi. You know, Anakin's master. Like that dude has been through it, and
Truly.
I
Mhm.
love the way he represents what a Jedi should be. And I also just throughout the Clone Wars, especially, is where you see it. But how much shade that man can throw! Like, hello.
Oh, he's sassy. What a
Oh my
sassy
god.
man.
Yeah. Every time like he and Ventress would flirt, it was just so
Oh,
funny. I loved them.
Yeah,
so
I
sorry,
liked
go
the
ahead.
way that he was portrayed in the Clone Wars animated show a lot, and I think that was more the Obi Wan that I latched onto. That and the Episode 3 Obi Wan. You know, the everything to me back then was really really cool in Episode 3, and especially the Anakin versus Obi Wan fight.
Yeah,
And we could probably do a whole video just talking about that fight.
truly.
But
Oh my god.
uh,
Actually that's a great idea. We should do like a like a play by play of that fight. So I do have to ask. I know we'll probably, get into this on another episode, but Obi-Wan's your favorite Jedi. What do you think about the Kenobi show?
okay, yeah, the Kenobi show, that was probably the most neutral I've felt about a lot of the new shows that have been coming out under Disney.
Mhm.
I didn't hate it, but it wasn't the story I was looking for.
Sure.
I would have liked to see how exactly, like, I guess less drawn out. I would have liked to see the transition from Obi-Wan to Ben, which is kind of what they were going for, but I feel like a lot of it was kind of muddied by them trying to introduce a bunch of new characters and characters into live action in the
Yeah.
form of Inquisitors and especially Reva. Riva? I
Reva.
Riva.
Riva. Okay. Um, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of Riva's character. I think she's an interesting inquisitor, but I wanted to see Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. I didn't want to see no name inquisitor that hasn't come up in the story. And then
Yeah.
eventually, we got the epic scenes of Darth Vader snatching a ship out of the sky, That's some Force Unleashed type moments right there. That was
Truly.
cool. But I also think that the Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan fight in that show was a little bit of a letdown compared to the Revenge of the Sith uh, match that they had. I was
That's
expecting
fair.
a lot more flair, and I especially did not like the way he just walks away from Vader. That felt very much like the hand of the author.
Mm,
That because like, oh, he can't die. I get that. I
yeah.
didn't expect Vader to die by any means, but I would have expected a bit more of a reason that Obi-Wan walks away or like can't end Vader right there because he knows the atrocities that Vader is capable of and has been committing for some time.
Yeah. I think I mostly agree. It definitely wasn't the show I was expecting it to be. I don't hate it by any means. I I think there was a little bit of things that were lackluster, but overall, like again, I feel like it's also one of those things where like, yeah, like it's all right, but I have fun watching it, and when I did watch it, there were moments where I was like, oh my God. So I don't know. I think that's important, but that's fair.
Yeah.
That's
I
fair.
feel like
You
You guys can give your opinions here as well. I feel like a theme with a lot of the Disney shows that we're getting, which I do like quite a few of them, and I love that we're getting new Star Wars, but I feel like a lot of them are the stories that we don't need to hear or that we aren't it's not the story that we're looking for from the character. A big one being like
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett. I wanted to
Yeah,
see Boba Fett in his prime being a badass bounty hunter, the guy who was serving Darth Vader as his personal bounty hunter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That was definitely one of my most disappointing show experiences because it that was, truly like this was very different from what I was expecting and wanted out of the show.
yeah.
Yeah. We were expecting like Book of Boba Fett to be more like yeah, they had the syndicates involved and stuff, but I like we were expecting like big boss like bounty hunter Boba Fett like taking over. Um, but we didn't really get that. And I do have to say that I do like I did really enjoy like the subplot um with the Tuscan Raiders. I thought that was really interesting and like taking them and like showcasing their culture and how Boba Fett like learned and like came into that. But I don't know. I feel like it like the rest of the show kind of was a bit disjointed. Um and yeah, I feel like also like again like they I think one of the someone said it themselves like it was Mando like 2.5. It wasn't like
Yeah.
its own show. So I think that's also like where it fell off because like it honestly got better when Mando showed up, which was yeah, it I don't think he should have because
Yeah.
it was Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
sad
could
that Mando was the best part of that show.
I could
Yeah.
see him popping in as like, Boba Fett's ally, but yeah, they took Tamura Morrison said it himself. There was about 3 episodes where it was just another Mandalorian show. He wasn't in 3 episodes of his own show.
Yeah.
It's like that's just that also really feels like dang Disney wanted some money right there. Which could be wrong. That could be a wrong opinion. That could not be why Mandalorian came in. But, it being such a big focus in another character's show was kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely. Well, might
So, wrapping back
who's your favorite
around,
Jedi?
yeah.
Uh, well, I would probably have to say Ahsoka. Um,
She's a citizen, so
I, I still consider her a Jedi. She like I love seeing her character growth. Like we got to grow up like with her and like see her mature as a person, a Jedi, a citizen. Um, but yeah, I just like just seeing her go from like this little like kid, like preteen that was just like ready to conquer the
Child
world.
soldier.
Yeah, child soldier, to the like level-headed, stoic, like awesome like person that she ended up being. Like I don't know. It's just like I love character development. Like when it's done right, it's so good. And I feel like overall like her character has been like written very. Also, I love her lightsabers. They're amazing. So, yeah.
they are very good. Well, it's only fair to ask your favorite Jedi got a show too. Thoughts on the Ahsoka show?
I really enjoyed the Ahsoka show. I feel like it was definitely a love letter to the people who enjoyed Rebels, which I did very much enjoy Rebels. Um, yeah, there were some very interesting like choices, like having Sabine become a Force wielder like that. is very interesting. Honestly, like when it first happened, I was like, huh? What? Like I didn't have like a good initial reaction. I still don't know if I don't have like a like, oh yeah, Sabine is a force wielder. Um I don't have that kind of reaction, but like I don't hate it. Like
Yeah.
but yeah, I really liked everything about it. Like I like that we got to see Ezra again. I wish he used his lightsaber though. Um
Yeah.
Instead of just yeah.
Well, he's got a new one now, so hopefully next
He
season.
does. He does. But yeah, I really liked oh god, what's his name? Rest in peace. Loved him. The
Oh, Ray Stevenson. What was his character's name?
yes.
Oh,
Oh my
Balin
gosh.
I'm
Skull.
blanking.
Raylan
Yes.
Skull.
Skull.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was phenomenal. I loved the actress that played his apprentice as well. She was great.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, it was really interesting. I like seeing the Night Sisters come back. Always loved them. Yeah, I'm excited for season 2. Also seeing Ahsoka and Anakin together again. Like
Yeah.
that was so cool. That was like I mean Jack Magnum and I watched it together. We both were like, yeah, like we were like hopping up and down. So
That
it
was
was
incredible.
fantastic.
Hayden Christensen in the Clone Wars getup.
Oh
Let
my
me tell
god.
you.
When he did that shoulder roll when he was like marching over towards Ahsoka, like that was just perfection.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with Ahsoka season 2. We have a new galaxy to explore, so that's I hope they really
Crazy.
go into that. But yeah,
I
we'll
will
see.
say one thing about the new galaxy thing is we really got to explore more planets in the galaxy we've been in. Everything
I
keeps leading back to
agree.
Tatooine right now, and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeesh. We got
I
more
did
than
see
just desert.
yeah, I did see that Andor might introduce more planets. So,
God, I hope
that's
so.
exciting.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so finally, we wrap up this question of Jack Magnum. What is your favorite Jedi?
Hey, I have the best answer here. I'll tell you that much. Qui Gon
All right.
Jinn, S tier Jedi, unbeatable. Don't
Except
don't.
when he gets stabbed in
Except,
the
Hey,
abdomen.
yeah,
hey, 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 hey. We don't talk about that.
unbeatable except for his one on-screen appearance where he has a fight.
Actually, he appeared at the end of Kenobi. So he also was in Clone Wars. So no, he's had multiple on-screen appearances. Also, Tales of the Jedi. So
That is true.
yeah, that's four. That's four right there. I hope I did that math right. Yeah, Qui Gon. I mean, I feel like with what you guys said, I think Qui Gon to me is kind of the quintessential Jedi of like, what the Jedi are supposed to be. Um, and I feel like he kind of gets off easy because he wasn't around for the Clone Wars, which is really like when the Jedi are pushed so far out of their, you know, role of peacekeeper and into warrior general, which I feel like pushes them. So I feel like Qui Gon's record kind of stays clean in that way. Um, but I mean, I feel like it's all but canon that if Qui Gon won that fight against Maul, then none of the movies as we know it would happen because Qui Gon being Anakin's master, Anakin probably would not have fallen, at least not in the same way that he did, where it was catastrophic for the galaxy, you know. So Qui Gon's great. Also, I love a green lightsaber, man. I tell you what, green lightsabers look so cool.
Yeah, expanding on your point of Anakin's fall to the dark side. I saw on a video quite a while ago, so I don't remember who it was by, but they were talking about That's the reason why it is referred to as the Duel of the Fates. The song playing in
Yeah.
the background and that duel itself, Duel of the Fates. If Qui Gon lives, it's entirely possible that Anakin doesn't end up falling to the dark side,
Yeah.
or like you said, maybe not in the same way. But I think Qui Gon Jinn is an unorthodox Jedi enough that I think he would have allowed Anakin to explore his emotions. Maybe not
I would
encourage
agree.
it.
Yeah.
Maybe not encourage like temptation so much, but also not to hide away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the whole thing, and not to dog on your guy, but I feel like that was Obi-Wan's flaw in being Anakin's master, is that he was so very much so like Jedi code of like, don't worry about your emotions. What do you mean you're worried about your mother? Stop that. You know? So I think that like kind of pushed Anakin away. And like, yeah, I agree. Like maybe he would not like fully let Anakin like give into it, but I think Qui-Gon would have like helped him explore that in a healthy way, especially, since he had kind of that choice that essentially he made of like, do I save Shmi or do I save Anakin? So I feel like he would understand Anakin's plight there.
Yeah, I think Qui-Gon would have definitely helped him. Like if Anakin and Padme like still got together in that timeline, he definitely would have like helped out. Um, whereas like Obi-Wan just like took a blind eye.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember I think it was mentioned in Master and Apprentice that Qui-Gon did love someone. So he would understand Anakin just as much as Obi-Wan did, like with Satine. But I think Qui-Gon would have actually like confronted Anakin and like talked to him and like got him through that whole process.
Yeah, definitely. How about Sith? What do you think about the dark side?
Well, let's do reverse order. Let's start with you. Who's your favorite Sith?
Oh, well, I mean, Count Dooku is my favorite Sith. Qui-Gon's master, hey, I love that line. I love that lineage. Um, but yeah, I think Qui-Gon is by far and away the coolest. He's, I think, always been my favorite, ever since he kind of came on screen and we got more and more of him through the Clone Wars. And I think what they're doing with him in, the like the new lore, because I feel like the old lore was he was kind of, I mean, he's a Sith and he fell to the dark side, but they kind of made him like I feel like they do with some of the Sith of like, this is like a cartoon villain. He's evil, so we have to like lean into making him evil. But I feel like the new stuff has kind of made him a sympathetic villain of his fall, what we saw in Tales of the Jedi and stuff. Highly recommend anyone listening to listen to Dooku Jedi Lost. Incredible book. Really goes into Dooku's character all throughout his life. Um, Also, it always comes back to the lightsaber. His lightsaber, I think, is the coolest lightsaber in all of Star Wars. I love the curved hilt, man. Form 2 Makashi. I love it, man. It's so cool.
All right, and we'll follow up with Night Pen, I guess. What is your favorite Sith?
Oh gosh. I mean, he's not really considered a Sith anymore, but I would have to say Darth Maul. Like, again, character development, like seeing like him come back in the Clone Wars and like seeing him throughout like Rebels, just yeah, just overall seeing like his story and like him taking over like syndicates and all that stuff. Like that was really interesting. Um, but yeah, I feel like that's more of a recent development. I don't never really had a favorite Sith. Back when I was on starwars.yahoo.com,
Whoa.
throwing it
Oh,
back there.
throwback.
I used to like back with Legends. I was really into Darth Talon just because she looked so cool, like her tattoos. amazing.
She's the Twi'lek, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the red Twi'lek. So yeah, she looks so cool. So I was like, oh, that's great. But yeah, I think Darth Maul is my guy now. And you, Sharp?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to just pick one, you know. I think I would agree with you. Darth Maul is easily top three for me, um, if not number one. And then Darth Vader as well, just being one of the most iconic villains in all of media. You know,
Yeah.
you don't even have to see him; you hear his breathing, and that's all you need, and shivers down your spine. Especially how they did it in I'm blanking on the name of the game, Jedi Fallen
Fallen
Order.
Order?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
way
Oh
they
my
introduced him in
gosh.
That
Fallen
reveal was
Order.
really good.
Oh my gosh, it just makes him feel like a force of nature more than an
Truly.
imposing threat. You know, someone who isn't at the top of the food chain. You know, outside of like the Skywalker family, maybe Kenobi and Emperor Palpatine. You know, who's taking on Darth Vader? You get
Yeah.
to see it
Yeah.
really well in Rebels as well when Kanan and Ezra run into him,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's almost like a horror movie villain.
It's
Yeah.
so cool though.
That's kind of what it is in Rogue One too, of just like the dark hallway and
Oh
then
my
red
god.
lightsaber and him just mowing through them. It's like
Yeah.
like imagining yourself being at the end of the hallway with the Death Star plans of like, I die here.
Yeah.
Like there is no escape. Truly no escape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think as a Sith, he might not be my favorite like overall, but if I had to pick one Sith to be like, yeah, this is the Sith I think of when I think of Sith, it's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
can throw in a little bit of a personal one, it would be Starkiller from Legends from Force Unleashed
Oh,
because that dude's badass. Like,
that's
He's
crazy.
crazy.
He's crazy.
you know,
Like
especially
Star
I played.
Destroyers out of the sky.
Oh yeah, I played Force Unleashed 1 on the PSP, the Darth Vader Special Edition PSP.
Ooh.
Probably like 13 times or so through the campaign, just because I was so addicted to that and the force powers in it. It was so cool. If I had to pick one Sith of all time for my personal favorite, it's Starkiller. But like it's so hard to choose because the Sith in Star Wars are so iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they truly know how to make characters.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Okay, and leading off of that one, our next question is a bit of a shorter one, and I think we're all going to have similar answers here.
I think
What is a
so.
favorite movie? Let's start with
You
Night
start,
Pen.
Night Pen.
Oh, well, of the Skywalker saga or all of Star Wars?
All of Star Wars, I guess.
Rogue One, hands down.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah.
Who would be your favorite character out of Rogue One?
Oh God. I don't even know. They're all so good. I love that they all die at the end. It's just so good. I don't know. I mean, we gotta love Andor.
Yeah.
Like seeing him. Also, the show phenomenal. I don't know. I love all the rebels. But yeah, Rogue One is fantastic.
Okay, and you, Jack Magnum?
Yeah. It's a toss up. It's between Rogue One is so good. It's so good. Um it's up there. It is up there, but it is, very, very close as well with I feel like most people's answer, which is Empire.
Hmm.
Empire is if we're limiting it to just Skywalker saga, it's Empire hands down. If it's all Star Wars movie, it's like so close. I don't know how I would pick between Empire and Rogue One.
What about you, Sharp?
Yeah, for me, I might have the most normie answer here. I'm going Revenge of the Sith easily. And it's not because it's the best movie. It is objectively not the best movie out of the franchise. But what the heck, dude? Anakin
It's so
versus
It's
good,
so
no?
Obi-Wan.
good. The moments,
The
the intro. Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god. The
Such a
first
fun intro.
10 minutes of that movie is just a wild roller coaster,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't stop. The march on the Jedi Temple, Anakin's fall, Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar, and leaving
Yeah.
Anakin in pieces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, you know, Objectively, is it the best movie? Absolutely not. I think easy second, if I'm looking at just is this movie a good movie? Rogue One, extremely good. I would
Yeah.
also say I loved Solo, which might be a hot take. I don't know if it is
I
or
loved
not.
it too. I loved it too. I think we
I
need more, a Star Wars story movies.
Yeah, I would hard agree there. But I think as much as I absolutely loved Solo, it was the one character we really didn't need to expand their story.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
I do
so
agree.
okay with leaving Han Solo as a mystery. He's just a bounty hunter, he's a swashbuckler, he's like the
Smuggler.
cool,
Yes.
mysterious guy. And I
Yeah.
would have been okay not knowing more, but also I'm completely okay with how they did his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My one complaint with Solo is how he got the name Solo. I think that's so
Oh,
silly.
yeah.
Yeah, that was really silly. I'm
Yeah.
also miffed that we didn't get a continuation with Kira and Maul. I know there's comics
Please.
now, but
Please.
I wanted to
I'm,
see more of that.
I'm still going to hold out for that, hopefully one day. I think we need to see more Maul in live action and just see
Yeah.
what he's up to
Yeah.
with the syndicates and how that's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about
I w-
shows? Oh, sorry. Do you want to keep going? We can keep going.
just final point. I want to see
Sure.
the transition from crime boss Maul to where he's at in Rebels. How does he end up on? Um, I forget the name of the planet, but how does he end up at the Sith Temple? Why
Yeah.
is he there? How does he have that knowledge? What's going on? I want to know that story. But okay, now we can move on.
So how about shows?
All
Sharp,
right,
what's your favorite show? Star Wars show?
I'll start it off hot. I'm going Acolyte.
Heck yes.
Really?
Heck
Wow.
yes.
Which I know there's going to be a lot of
Yeah.
Ooh,
disagreement there.
spicy.
We probably
Um,
need a whole episode on our takes on the Acolyte.
For
I think
sure.
absolutely that's going to be an episode. But just, entering the era of the High Republic was super cool to me. And a lot of the characters, I loved a lot of the characters in Acolyte. I'm gonna forget a lot of their names right now, but I loved Master Soul. I loved who's I'm not gonna know. I'm gonna pull up their names right now. I'm gonna pull up the
Dang, fake
cast
fan.
because
Fake fan.
I know, I
Names are
know.
hard. Names are hard.
Acolyte characters. Yeah, Chimere being one of the coolest Sith we've had in a
Oh
long
my
Oh,
time.
oh my
gosh.
God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love him.
I love him.
Great.
I love his fighting style. I think that if he had a more of a story, he would probably be one of my favorite characters, but I don't know if we'll see that now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved uh Jecki. I loved
Oh yeah, I
seeing
Oh,
loved
a
her.
poor
Padawan.
Jackie.
Rest in
Dude, she
peace.
got done so dirty. um
She was fighting hard though. She
yeah,
was trying to
Truly.
live.
oh, she was so good. I think
Yeah.
for a Padawan, like that was such a good
Phenomenal.
character, but
Truly, yeah.
she was fighting Chimere, and that's not a winning battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And outside of that, Master Soul, I liked him. I didn't care as much for our main characters, Osha and May. I liked where they were going at the beginning, and I was intrigued, but how they finished the Acolyte, I just it felt like there wasn't enough episodes for them to go the way they did. And I
Man,
think
we could
that's
have a whole episode talking about how 8 episodes is not enough for a show.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not enough.
In media
Yeah.
in general, I want 20 like 18 to 24 episodes again, like per season.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're doing
I
long
miss it.
episodes, they could probably get away with like a 12 episode season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
what
I
they did
mean,
with
that's what
Andor.
Andor, yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I
I
think
think
that they rocked it there
Yeah.
phenomenally.
but yeah,
Yeah, I
I
felt like the pacing, like because of the episodes, like um yeah, either they needed to cut it down because there was some like weird open like spaces that didn't really like personally I don't think panned out, and then like or like if they needed to get into more detail and like they needed more time for that.
yeah, and I think with a second season, that Acolyte would have really shown where it could have gone.
I
But
agree.
according to leaks, we're not getting that now.
Yeah.
And I can hope, but time will tell. I think that it is a flawed show, but I think a lot of what it sets up is great. And one of my biggest like gripes with it, we were robbed of a Wookiee Jedi fight. What the
Oh
heck?
my
Killing it
Yeah,
off
gosh.
screen.
I know.
Crazy work. Yeah. I've got an Acolyte hot take if you'll allow.
Sure. Hit me with it.
If with the knowledge or the assumed knowledge, I guess, that we're not getting a season two, only getting one season of this, I think the Acolyte would have functioned a lot better as a movie.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think as a standalone thing, yeah, I think a movie
Yeah,
would have served it better.
yeah,
But we'll definitely have to make a video diving deeper into the Acolyte and
for sure.
our opinions on it.
Yeah.
But for now, let's move on to Jack Magnum. What is your favorite Star Wars show?
I'm going crazy original here. It's got to be Andor. Andor is so good. It just feels very like Star Wars in the way that it dives into the rebellion and all of just like the darkness and the muck of the Star Wars,
The world.
galaxy, yeah,
Yeah.
as like a whole. And I feel like it really finds that ethos, I feel like, of Star Wars, of like, even through like the darkest times, like hope will get you through. And I feel like that's just what Star Wars is all about. And I feel like Andor captures that better than so much stuff we've gotten in Star Wars. I feel like as a whole, I feel like it accomplishes that so well. I mean, like Luthen's speech is like, I think, some of the greatest writing in media, like, period. I think that speech is incredible. And yeah, everything they did with that show, I'm so excited for season two. And I also am really glad that, like, yeah, like people love the show, but it seems like, and I hope they keep it this way, that we're just getting 2 seasons of Andor. Like, they're not gonna like keep on milking that cow, like unfortunately they are with Mando. You know, it's just, let's get 2 really good seasons and story's been told.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think 2 seasons will serve it well. If they go more than that,
Yeah,
hopefully it's good, but I think 2 seasons is a good story to tell. I'm looking forward very much so to finding out how he met K2SO. That's my
oh,
favorite
Yeah.
character in Rogue One,
yeah,
easy.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And
Nightbed. Oh,
okay, Nope. Go ahead.
Nope. Go for it. Go for it.
Nope. We're moving on.
No.
Well,
All right, Nightman, take it.
I'm gonna just add to what Jack Magnum was saying about like just how Andor like showcases the rebellion. Like they really show it in a different light. Like throughout like the the past like movies and TV shows, like we really like have only seen the rebellion in a like positive, like hero driven light, and you have to do terrible things to get the rebellion going. You know, like really, like we only really saw that with Saw Gerrera and his like unit, but I feel like Andor like truly like shows like you got to get your hands dirty. Like things are not gonna aren't just like shiny or like rainbows, and like we can't just use the stun setting, you know, all the time like Rebels did. But yeah, so I just wanted to add that because I do like seeing the rebellion in a darker like tone. Um, but my favorite show, uh, probably would be. I'd have to say the Clone Wars. I know.
Someone had to say it.
Huh?
Yeah.
Someone had to say it.
Yeah. It like yeah, the first couple of seasons, like there's some silly episodes. It started very much as a kids show, but like as soon as you get like just before the Mortis arc and like beyond that, it's just like so much lore is in that like really shaped like Star Wars and what it is today. And I just like I love Mandalore. I love Satine. I love the Fives arc. Oh my god. Like
Oh
Gosh.
God, fives.
Fives like what he went through was devastating, and I love those episodes. And then them bringing back like everything for season 7, like I like those episodes are so good. Like me and Jack Magnum recently rewatched that season just cuz, and like it's just so good. The choreography with Maul and Ahsoka is just so good. It looks beautiful. And yeah, I have so much love for that show.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Clone Wars is like easily top 3 shows for all of us, and I only didn't choose it for my favorite because I didn't want to go for an animated show. I think Clone Wars and Rebels are easily my favorite too, but I wanted to pick something from the Disney era and something that was like not as basic, I guess. Not to say your choice
Hey,
is basic, but just something that isn't so like expected.
Yeah.
sure.
Also, you bringing up Rebels, I do have to make a shout out to that show as well because I love seeing the more mystical side of the Force. I feel like we don't get to see that as often as we should.
Uh,
So here's to hoping uh, future media showing more mystical sides of the Force. That'd be great.
yeah, I think when the Force is a mystery is when it's at its best. Seeing all of Rebels and Ezra's connection to the Force, seeing in Fallen Order and Survivor how Cal Kestis interacts with the Force, and specifically the world between worlds. Like
Crazy.
that's
Yeah,
always so cool to me. And Mortis, and
that was
I can't
wild.
I can't wait for Ahsoka season 2 to see what's happening with the Mortis
Yeah.
statues, and where is Balin's skull going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
I
could
feel like
probably
in,
do a
in
whole video about the animated shows as well.
that's what I was gonna say. I feel like in terms of Star Wars shows, the animated shows are all I feel like just incredible.
Yeah.
Maybe bar one of them.
Which one is that? Because I don't know which one you mean.
The one
Resistance.
that everyone forgets about. Resistance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Will we? I don't know. We'll see how this
I'm
goes. But a topic that isn't something written down, but as we've been talking about wanting to kind of pick at, is what is your guys' favorite lightsaber color? Like if you had to
I already
pick one
said
for
mine.
yourself. Okay, green for you.
Green, green. I love a green lightsaber.
All
They
right,
just
night pen.
like, oh, let me
Oh, okay,
explain.
okay,
Let me
okay, okay. Go, go, go.
explain. They just look so cool, like the emeralds, glowing, and obviously Qui-Gon looks cool, but also I think, starting with the, watching the originals, the reveal of, 'cause, up until episode 6 we'd only seen, blue and red, and then the reveal like, oh, Luke has a green lightsaber. That's so cool. um so I think that always just like really struck me. And then yeah, we got like Yoda, but Yoda's Yoda. I don't really care about that guy. But then Qui-Gon, ooh, Qui-Gon, that's a cool guy right there. If like odds are, if you have a green lightsaber, I have a fondness. Bar Yoda. Nightpen,
Yep.
go.
Uh, well, my favorite color is probably, well, if we're going classic colors, it would be blue. I would definitely have a blue lightsaber. But overall, it's white. I love, again, I love Ahsoka's lightsabers. They just look so beautiful, and just like with the lore now, like showing that white lightsabers are purified uh Sith kyber crystals. Like it's so cool. Like just the purity of it. It's just, I think it's beautiful.
Heck yeah. Sharp.
Yeah, I'd hard agree on that. White is just a really elegant color for a lightsaber. Um, but if I had to pick one for myself, it would definitely be cyan, and I don't know if we see that outside of Fallen Order. I'm not thinking of a
I don't
particular
know.
cyan lightsaber outside of that. Maybe in the comics, I'm sure in the comics, which is
Probably.
Either
for
that
the
or High Republic, which we need to get to. We need to read that.
yeah, for the
Yeah.
viewers, we're not as in tune with all the comics and books. It's something that we're going to be getting into as we are building this channel. But
Yeah.
as of right now, we're working with the knowledge we have. And if you have anything to share, feel free to drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear,
Recommendations.
yeah, recommendations. We'd love to hear like stories that we should look at and talk about, and anything that you want to drop below. So, one of the final questions that we have written down is if you could have one series made about anything in the universe of Star Wars, what would it be?
Well, I know Jack Magnum has several on his list,
I
so
do. I do. I
I
feel
think
like
you
I've.
should start.
Do I start? I should start on the last one. Okay. I mean, if you
That's
want me
fine.
to,
Just go
I'll
for
do
it.
it. Okay. I have two. I'll start with the one that I feel less passionately about, which is, we kind of brushed on it, is, Akira show with Maul and her, Maul leading the syndicate and stuff. And I know we've gotten some comics. I haven't read them myself. Um, but I think having that in live action and getting live action Maul, live action Kira, I think, what's her face? Who played Kira? Uh,
Amelia Clark.
Amelia Clark. Thank you. I think she did a phenomenal job, and I would love to see her back in Star Wars on screen again. Um, I feel like that would also scratch that itch that Boba Fett didn't scratch for me, of that like underworld show of like, these are not good people and they're just kind of using the system to make themselves richer and, all that kind of stuff. I feel like that would be really, really cool. But the one that I feel so, so strongly about and that I want so, so badly is an animated show, because I feel like animated shows are generally better, like we said, in Star Wars. Um, an animated show, post episode 6, Luke, Han, and Leia and Lando, um, of like their adventures and that kind of stuff, of to kind of see, almost bridge the gap between the Luke, Han, Leia, and Lando that we see in episode 6 to episode 7, and kind of bridge that gap to see how they got, there. I think there's a lot of cool things you can do, and I know they've explored that in books and comics. But again, I feel like just seeing it on screen, and they've done it, before, of like things in the comics and then they show it on screen, and yeah, things change a little bit in that transition of media. But I want so badly to see Luke on screen again, and I feel like the best way to do that is in animation, because you can find a voice actor who can do a pretty good Luke, but I feel like the deep fake technology is just not there yet, and
Okay,
it just kind of looks wonky.
I got two things to say before we move on past that. Is one, I cannot believe the disrespect you're putting on Chewie when you're including Lando instead of Chewie.
Okay.
Like, that's just wild. And two is the fact that the actor that they got, I don't know his name, but the actor they got for Luke to put the deepfake on in Mandalorian looks just like a young Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Like,
Like he could
that
just
is,
play young Luke.
he really could. It's just disrespectful at that point, and I feel like that's something that Disney has been tone deaf about. Is they did the same thing with Solo. They I don't know if it was an official statement. I don't remember where I saw it, but I saw that Disney had chalked up Solo's failure to them trying to replace
Yeah.
Harrison Ford, which is wild to me. The actor that played the young Han Solo was like the perfect casting, in my opinion.
He
Yeah, he
did
did very
great.
well.
Extremely good. You're never gonna find another Harrison Ford. I don't care how long you look or how
Yeah.
long you wait. You're never gonna find him. But the actor that
Yeah.
played him, I don't know his name, but he did phenomenal. And I think that we need to give a chance to other actors to play these iconic characters, which is, it's big shoes to fill for sure. But if we want to continue telling these stories, we need to get with the times. These
Yeah.
Yeah.
actors
And
are
it
unfortunately very old.
yeah, it's not like other franchises don't replace actors. I mean, look at James Bond. That is a franchise that has been going for decades at this point. And there's been, I don't even know how many. So, yeah, I think Star Wars just needs to take a little bit more risk and just hire some new actors.
But that's also the thing. I feel like it's a lot easier to transition actors between voice acting and live action, because they've done it so many times already in Star Wars. You have voice actor. I bumped my mic again. Voice voice actor Ahsoka, and you have Rosaria Dawson as Ahsoka. You have Matt Lanter as Anakin. You have Hayden Christensen as Anakin. Tamara Morrison and D. Bradley Baker as the clones. Um, it's been done before, and I feel like you can do it with Luke, Han, and Leia, and Chewie and Lando.
All right,
But
Nightpin.
that's the
So
one I want the most.
okay, are you? Is that all you're bringing up then? All the shows
Yes.
you're bringing up? Okay. All right, Nightpin. Let's have you go
Okay.
next.
Well, first and foremost, I have to say that I think that Disney can choose literally any genre of TV show and make a Star Wars show about it. And I think they should look into more genres. However, I have a very specific show that I want. I want a series of nature documentaries for each like planet, or like just not even just like each planet, but like just choose a planet, show me like the flora and fauna. Like I want a David Attenborough like nature documentary of Star Wars planets.
Oh my
I
god.
want that so bad.
I would love for it to be like voiced over by in-universe characters. Like it doesn't have to be a whole canon thing of them. It could just be a fun like I want to hear like Ahsoka talk about Felucia or something. I think that would be so
Yeah,
fun.
that would be
That
cool.
would be
Yeah.
really fun. But yeah, give me
Or
a
you
nature
could
documentary based in Star Wars. Like I think that would be so fun.
No, make it canon. This is Ahsoka's like homework project in the Jedi Temple. You know, this is the flora and fauna of Felucia.
But yeah, that's
I
my
think that would
very
be really
specific
fun.
ask. What series do you want, Sharp?
Yeah, for me, it's also kind of specific, but I don't think it's something that a lot of people would really like. Um, I think it would find a very niche genre of like old Western style. I would love to have a show that is based on following bounty hunters through the system and following them to their marks and giving expanded lore on like the underground parts of Star Wars, specifically like the lower levels of Coruscant. And I
Ooh,
would, my dream would be for it to be like you follow a bounty hunter, you build up this character, you get to know him, and then he's taken out by another bounty hunter, and now you follow the guy that just killed the bounty hunter you were following.
that
I
would be
think that would be,
super cool.
I think they should make that.
I think it would be so fun.
I really think Disney needs to get more dark with their shows, which I feel like they did kind of with Andor, but I like show me the villains. Just
Yeah,
show me all the make an adult show and show me the villains. Show me the death. I want to see it.
real.
Yeah.
I keep telling Jack Magnum like I want to see the Empire be terrible. Like we know that they've committed atrocities. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see it on screen. Like we kind of got like I was getting like kind of the that from Bad Batch, seeing like the propaganda and like how the Empire really took over. But like I want to see that get really dark.
Yeah. I think they also need to be more comfortable like killing off like main characters, you know? Cuz like I feel like in a lot of media, but you know, Star Wars 2, you know, there's a problem of like people don't really die for good and they kind of just come back and I feel like they just need to get more comfortable like killing off main characters and keeping them
I want to jump in off
dead.
that. They need to make the lightsaber dangerous again. Like, oh my god, how many people are going to get stabbed and just be okay? I get that, like, the whole argument of, oh, it's searing the wound and whatever. Brother, you're being stabbed through the chest. What? Like, you're.
Why
I'm
couldn't
sorry?
Qui-Gon live?
Yeah, literally. And yeah, that I think we need to make things dangerous again because you do expect
Yeah.
your main characters to make it through whatever is like the problem at the time, whatever hardship they're going through. You expect them to succeed, and I think that's where Rogue One really capitalized was they had expendable characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not me saying, "Oh, kill everyone."
No.
Uh, I definitely don't want to see that, but I think when a character is meant to die, like in the Acolyte, you know,
Yeah.
I think the Acolyte, uh, Jecky's death specifically, I wasn't expecting her to die because I was like, she's been built up as a main character and she's holding her own against this guy, and then Master Soul shows up and it's like, okay, yeah, she's gonna be fine. Stab, stab, stab. She's
Yeah.
dead. Like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean, yeah, same with Soul though, you know, he was very much so a main character and, you know, him dying at the end too was not fully expected and I was like, "Oh man, like they're just going to let her do this. That's crazy."
Yeah, which we'll definitely dive deeper
Yes,
in a
yes.
dedicated video. But yeah, I think this is so far been pretty good. We're just over an hour. We don't have a
Okay.
specific timeline for how long these videos are going to be. We're going to be doing a few different types of content on this channel. We're wanting to delve into the lore. We're wanting to have these discussions in podcast style talks. We're wanting to talk about games, we're wanting to talk about movies, we're wanting to talk about Disney and
Yes.
the companies running Star Wars. But this was just
Yeah.
our introduction to try and play our hand at making content on Star Wars on a series that we're so passionate about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we
all.
we have these conversations very often, like on our own. So why not bring other people into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and feel free where any of the topics that we talked about today or anything that you want to see us talk about in the future, leave down below your thoughts and opinions and ideas for content that you want to see from us. Do
Hmm.
you guys have any last things you want to say?
Well, the what I want to say is, so the audience knows, there's one more question on our little list here that we're leaving off. I'm demanding that we answer that in another episode, or at least make a whole episode about that, because that's a good one.
Uh,
I was excited about that one.
well, I think we kind of covered a lot of that, but
Ooh, we did
Yeah.
cover mine.
oh,
Got
okay.
some. I
You
got
have
some good
another?
ones. I got some
Oh,
good ones.
All right. Well, I think a little bit over an hour is a good first video, and I think
Yeah,
we can save that for another video. So
we
be
can have a
looking
whole video
forward to that,
dedicated to that.
guys. And make sure to remember to drop a like and subscribe. And thanks for supporting us.
thank
Yeah.
you.